What's up, Penn State fans? Mike Still here with my beat partner Brant Gelman, and we're here on Off the Mat previewing the Penn State Nittany Lions trip to the NCAA Championships this weekend in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we're excited. I know Mike and I are very anxious to go to our first ever Nationals. We look forward to bringing you all live coverage for Off the Mat when we're there. But for now, let's preview a little bit of what we're going to see this weekend.
Yeah, Brant, let's just take him through what the season's been like for the Nittany Lions. Pretty flawless with a tie for first place at the Southern Scuffle. They took a championship at the Virginia Duels earlier in the season. Only hiccup was that loss to Iowa, which is a sold-out match. Huge atmosphere, lots of anticipation for that one. But Iowa got the best of Penn State.
Yeah, but you know, the rest of the season went on. They finished 17-1-1, which is one of the best records they've ever had. And they came out with their first ever Big Ten championship, which we are sorry we haven't brought to Off the Mat yet, but now let's review that a little bit. First Big Ten championship ever, came into the last match. Cameron Wade got the bonus points the team needed to get that revenge against Iowa for a 1-point Big Ten championship.
Yeah, Brant, 5 guys won individual titles, went 5-0 in the first place matches. Just a huge turnout from the whole team. Definitely an emotional day for all of them. And talking to a lot of the guys on the team this week in practice, they said that was the happiest they've ever seen Cale.
Yeah, that's the joke going around. He's so serious all the time. He always has a serious face on. To hear he was smiling the whole day, that shows you how really big that he thought this was for the team. And the rest of the team, they spent the entire week, every day we saw them, they had the Big Ten Championship t-shirt on. So clearly they're taking it in all the emotion in, but it was back to business this week getting ready for Nationals, which everybody said.
If you take a look at Penn State's history in the NCAAs, they won their first and only title in 1953 when they hosted the tournament. And just last year, in Coach Sanderson's first year, took them to a 9th place finish. They sent 6 guys to Nationals, had All-American Frank Molinaro. This year they'll be sending 8 guys to Nationals, so have a little bit better chance this year.
Yeah, one guy in particular that I'm personally looking forward to watching is sophomore Andrew Long, wrestling at 133 pounds. Last year, he wrestled at 125 pounds for Iowa State and lost. He was the runner-up in the National Championships final match. He said he has a little chip on his shoulder coming back this year. He knows a little bit more what to expect, and he's moved up to the 133-pound weight class, which some people might say is a little easier than 125. So I'm really, he's also said that even though he took the whole first half of the year off before he transferred to Penn State, he said his conditioning is really right where he wants it to be right now.
As you mentioned, Long's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Another guy who's had kind of a rough season, really came on to the Big Ten tournament, Quentin Wright. Stormed through the tournament, surprised a lot of people. Entered the tournament at 12-6, came away with the Big Ten title at 184 pounds. Talking to him this week, that title just really kind of gave him the boost that he really needed. Coming into this tournament, I hope we can see a little bit of fire in Quentin.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say, as all of our loyal Off the Mat viewers have seen, we kind of ragged on Quentin a little bit this year. He was coming in, he was an All-American, he got hurt, he didn't have the season that everybody wanted to. People had to pick him up all year long just for Penn State to get a few extra wins. And then he comes out in the Big Ten Championships and just steamrolls through everybody. That's what we've seen from this team this year, is you never know where you're going to get that top performance from. But one person in particular who we see it from day in and day out is undefeated David Taylor, who took the 157-pound title at the Big Ten Championships, and we only look for sky's the limit for him in the Nationals.
Yeah, Taylor, 34-0 in his first official season as a Nittany Lion. It's incredible. Following Coach Sanderson's footsteps. It's hard to make that comparison just yet.
Yeah, we'll slow down on that.
But how he does in NCAAs, that'd be good to match him up against Cale. But Taylor is the number 3 seed. He's actually got 2 guys, 2 All-Americans at 157 pounds, 2 undefeated guys ahead of him. So, although he's been storming through this year, you never know. He could face a challenge at it.
Yeah, one of the main guys that he may have to face is Bubba Jenkins, who I'm sure all Penn State wrestling fans will know infamously transferred from Penn State after a little bit of a feud with Cale Sanderson. So I'm sure Cale, backhandy, he would never admit to it, but I'm sure he'd love to see his undefeated superstar go up against a transfer who, they had a little bit of a feud with.
Yeah, the Nittany Lions will be sending 7 seeded wrestlers in the NCAAs. That one unseeded, Brad Pataki, he earned an at-large bid after finishing 7th at the Big Tens. And talking to him in practice, this is his last year. He's a redshirt senior. His last chance to finally earn that the NCAA title. And he's hungry for it, Brad.
Yeah, Brad is someone we're really pushing for. He's been an unsung leader of this team, as by far the oldest member of the lineup that has started any point this year. He's been hurt all season long. He's been a constant force in the wrestling room, trying to get his team ready for the whole season. He's been a great influence, so we're really pushing for him. We really want to see him do well.
Another guy who's been there quite a bit, two-time All-American Frank Molinaro at 149 pounds. We can expect him to lead the lines. Offer any advice he can to some of the younger guys.
Yeah, Mr. Consistency. Frank will, we always know what he's going to get out of him. We just hope he can push through and get to the national championship.
141 pounds. You got true freshman Andrew Alton. Struggled this whole year in that tough Big Ten conference. He's going to see those guys again this weekend.
Yeah, saying goes, third time's a charm. This is like the fifth time he's going to see a couple of these 141-pounders. So, nobody denies the talent that Andrew has, and maybe he can step up and get the Lions a little more breathing room because, as everybody knows, between Oklahoma State and Boise State and anyone from the Big Ten, including Iowa and Penn State and, of course, Cornell, it's such a wide open field this year. A lot of what Kayla's talked about, the parity, really makes wrestling interesting to watch this year.
Another guy, obviously, to keep your eye on, Ed Ruth, 174-pounder. He's number 2 in the country. He's only got 1 loss this entire season. And reading a press conference that Kale had at NCAAs today, somebody asked him, Kale, are you surprised with the success that Ed has had this year? He said, not at all.
Yeah.
Ed's a quiet guy. He doesn't flaunt. He's not. He doesn't. What am I trying to say here?
He really
doesn't overreact too much.
Yeah.
He keeps to himself. But he's silent but deadly.
Yeah, silent but deadly for sure. He's got that swag, as I like to say, out on the mat. And I think the whole Nittany Lion team is going to need that swag if they want to come away with their first championship in a long time.
Yeah, every one of these guys is the kind of kid that shows up the bigger the match. So we can definitely expect that this weekend. Yeah,
going through the Big Ten Conference this year, which I'm sure everybody would argue is the best conference in the country. Every single match, day in and day out, sold out halls all over the country. These kids are ready for the atmosphere that they're going to take. True freshmen or redshirt freshmen, whatever you want to call this team, all of them have developed into fantastic wrestlers, and they're ready to go.
As good as this team is, they're not the favorite. It's hard to pick a favorite in this tournament. Iowa's a good team. Cornell's a good team. Oklahoma State, always powerful. Arizona State, any one of those Big Ten teams. Wisconsin, Minnesota, they could all make some noise.
Yeah, so we'll be looking forward to a really close matchup. It's going to come down to who wants it a little bit more.
So NCAA start Thursday morning and continue through Saturday. That last session is at 7:30. That'll be on live on ESPN.
Yeah, we'll be bringing you coverage from Off the Mat the whole time. Also, check out the Collegian blog Backpoints, which I'm sure everybody looks into every day. We'll be live. I will personally be live tweeting from the match. I'm sure Mike's going to dabble a little bit in the new social networking, and we're going to try to bring you the best coverage you can possibly get for the Collegian.
So for Brant Gelman, I'm Mike Still. Thanks for tuning in.
Off the Mat.